Happy Thawtide, Envoys! Sci-Fi fan here, and today we're diving into the lore behind the Winter Solstice event that's currently active in Soulframe through January 30th. Before we begin though, just a quick heads up. This is a lore-focused video about the in-game holiday itself, not a guide on how to earn the event cosmetics. If you're looking for a walkthrough or farming tips, I highly recommend checking out some of the many great Soulframe YouTubers that are out there. I'll link a few of them in the description below. With that out of the way, let's get into it. So what exactly is Thawtide? According to the lore entries tied to the various event armor pieces, Thawtide is an annual winter solstice holiday observed by the Dendrit people of Midrath. It takes place after the Long Night, which is the shortest day of the year. Before the Ode invasion of Alka and the elimination of winter weather due to the alien invaders' terraforming efforts, Dendrit children would awaken to find flowers blooming in the snow outside their homes. Their elders would then use blades, known as rostrums, to carefully slice seeds from those flowers, one by one. Once enough seeds had been gathered, families would march out into the cold each morning for the 7 days leading up to Thawtide, feeding the island's cardinals. On the morning of Thawtide itself, a ceremonial bow called a maestro was used to loose a uniquely carved arrow. As the arrow flew, the wind whistling through its fletching produced a sound that mimicked the call of the cardinal. This call would send the island's cardinals into the air. According to Dendrit belief, only through this ritual feeding and summoning of the birds could longer days be ensured, with the voices of the red cardinals being said to awaken the resting sons of Mora and Safine from their longest slumber. Throughout each long night, the cardinals' nests were guarded by long night elders. These were Dendrit warriors armed with rostrums and clad in traditional Thawtide armor. Their attire included warm thermal trousers, a shirt decorated with a leaf motif, and a helmet shaped like a snow-laden pine tree. Each elder also wore a constellation of metal scales, with one scale stitched to their hip for every year that they stood vigil. Some Long Night Elders served in this role for decades, with one such individual mentioned in the game's lore being described as having participated in the ritual for 60 years before his memory was wiped by the spell song. Sadly though, Thawtide is no longer celebrated openly. Lore notes reveal that Lord Synod, the leader of the Ode in Midrath, has ordered the tradition to be eradicated. Specialized sinecure soldiers, known as Thawtide hunters, have been dispatched to silence the cardinals and prevent their songs from awakening memories of life before the Ode among the Dendrit people. To accomplish this, the Thawtide hunters use devices called squawkers to lure in the island's cardinals and capture them. In a profane mockery of the holiday, these soldiers also wear the traditional garb of the Long Night Elders, but with the addition of a full-face mask, turning symbols of protection into tools of suppression. Like much of Soulframe's mythology, Thawtide appears to draw inspiration and focus on birds from real-world winter solstice traditions, particularly those that are rooted in Celtic folklore, pagan belief, and Christian myths. In older Celtic tradition, stories tell of a cyclical struggle between the Holly King of winter, represented by a wren, and the Oak King of summer, represented by a red-breasted robin. On the winter solstice, the Oak King overthrows the Holly King and takes his place, only for the cycle to reverse at the summer solstice. This eternal exchange symbolizes the changing of the seasons and may help explain why robins are so strongly associated with winter. In Christian traditions, robins also hold symbolic significance. One legend tells of a small brown bird appearing in the stable on the night of Jesus' birth. Seeing that the fire meant to keep Mary and her child warm was dying out, the bird fluttered its wings to fan the flames back to life. In doing so, it was struck by a stray ember, scorching its breast a bright red. Mary is said to have declared the red breast a mark of the bird's kindness that would be passed down to its descendants forever. Another Christian legend says that the robin's breast is red because of its association with Jesus Christ's death and crucifixion. When Jesus was on the road to Calvary to be crucified, it is said that a robin plucked a thorn from his crown of thorns, which was placed on his head in mockery by the Roman soldiers, and that a drop of Jesus' blood fell on the robin's chest, turning it red. Meanwhile, in Victorian England, the association of robins with winter was further reinforced when the tradition of sending Christmas cards first became popular. Royal Mail postmen wore bright red uniforms, earning them the nickname Robins or Redbreast. Early Christmas cards often featured imagery tied to letter delivery, such as post boxes or these red-clad postmen. Over time, artists began depicting the small brown and red bird delivering letters instead. The motif caught on and remains a familiar part of holiday imagery to this day. Taken together, these myths offer a fascinating real-world parallel to Thawtide and its emphasis on birds, memory, and the return of light. Thawtide, much like the legends that inspired it, is ultimately about the quiet hope that even in the longest night, a new dawn will come. In Soulframe, that hope is something the Ode are actively trying to silence, resulting in such a celebration of life and remembrance being practiced by those who still remember it as an act of rebellion. As the event continues, it's worth taking a moment to appreciate how much meaning and lore Digital Extremes has woven into such a small seasonal event, even when it's partially hidden beneath armor sets and farming activities. Soulframe continues to build out its world and mythology in new and interesting ways, and I can't wait to see how future seasonal events incorporate real-world folklore. If you enjoyed this deep dive into Thawtide's lore, be sure to like the video, subscribe for more Soulframe lore and analysis, and let me know in the comments your thoughts about the event. Until next time, Envoys, stay more out there, and I'll see you in Midrath.